All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. Now you're watching a Link to the Past randomizer daily race on speed gaming. Today we're going to have inverted Keysanity, and we'll be watching Mr. Aaron Snurd and Vextiver. I'm Norse Maddie. Tracking today is Professor Renderer, and joining me in the booth is Radical Sniper 99. How are you doing, Radical Sniper?
Good evening. Yeah, this is fun. Inverted keys. Been a while since we've seen this. I know at least when we've had this mode in the past, I think we've seen a lot more inverted AD keys, but a little nicer to have it just be inverted keys.
Yeah, we probably will see some of the pendant dungeons though with the Keysanity mode. We may finish them all. We don't know.
Yeah, really going to depend on what we get. I will say I think the keys in inverted is actually probably one of the best things. Maddie, I mean, you were one of our power pendant players within the league this season, dealing with the possibility of ambrosia. And I think one of the great things about inverted keys is actually the ability to kind of avoid the early moth play potentially.
Yeah, or early thieves or any of that. We just got started, and both of them started here at Darkling's house and got a hammer.
And Aaron immediately left, and Vex decided to continue.
Yeah, it looks like Vex is going to pull here. It's one of those game knowledge modes. You could get bombs out of that. He's hoping to get it. Open Hype Cave didn't. Will save and quit. Probably follow Aaron up here in the Skull Woods.
Yeah, so we're going to get some scouting. Oh, Quake Medallion on Bumper Ledge. This is actually a really scary kind of item because the requirements for Bumper Ledge are actually a little bit more than normal.
Yeah, you still need the cape, but I think you also need to get the glove and the mirror.
Yeah. Glove is normal for Bumper Ledge. It's that mirror edition that's kind of really rough. Now, this is an interesting strategy, I will say, for this start. We'll see how it works out, but one of the things that's really common for this mode, and, Aaron and Vex, both newer players, but a very common strategy here is actually to drop into the back first.
Yeah, you're guaranteed to get some bomb drops from the pots here by dropping in here.
Yep.
And once you get those, then you can go down and pick up that chest that they just went and picked up there in Skull Woods.
Yeah, and I like this is a normal start for an inverted seed. Like, I think I like the Link's House start, but one of the things I would definitely be in favor of is doing that drop down before getting the chest.
Yeah, because when they both went in there, they then walked back out and around. So it did take a little extra time. Not too bad, but just something to think about when you're playing this mode.
Of course, Vex, if you're going to go for those bombs, you do want to pick both up.
Yeah, and Aaron working through the statue room here.
Yeah, this is not an easy room where you don't really have a lot to control the pace here.
Yeah, without a sword, it's very difficult to keep those give those off of you. The hammer is just a little bit unwieldy to use.
But nice early bow. And I mean, while we still need a ton to be able to even consider Palace of Darkness, we can get in now. And like do some extra checks in there.
Yeah. Yeah, with that hammer, it is available to us right now.
Now, the one thing I will say is Aaron should probably have considered going for that small key on the left.
Yeah.
As Aaron is immediately reminded that this is, of course, Keysanity, so we do not know pendant crystals. And this is one of those things that, we're seeing it from Aaron is kind of just like, okay, definitely new to the inverted setup. and common strategies. Which I'm sure, like, for you, Maddie, like this was, I mean, you were on the team with these guys for League this season, so you're this was one of the things you put a lot of time into learning.
Yes, I did, because I figured that this would be a possible mode. And yeah, so it looks like Aaron wants to fill up here on bombs. I think there's two ways to get to that room with where the key, without the key you could drop down over here where Aaron's going to go, and you expect to find a key to let yourself get back out. The other thing, you could just save and quit when you're done with it here. So
yeah, and he did get some bombs at least, but this might make it an annoying little double dip to get over to Village of Outcasts now. Although that's a nice glove.
yeah, so glove and hammer. So we're actually just the moon pearl away from light world access already, which means we might be able to avoid Aga, which Aga actually comes up quite a bit in inverted seeds.
Yeah, it's just the lack of checks really in this mode. You don't realize how much you don't have. Like, Kakariko has 15 or so checks that you can make early in the game, whereas 15 is almost all that you have in Dark World this early.
Yeah, I mean, once we get through Hive Cave, we'll probably have seen like about half the checks that are available to us at the beginning of the seed. We'll just have Village of Outcasts in the front of Thieves. We won't be able to get into the back without the big key, but there will be 4 chests for us there.
There's the first of our Skullwood Smalls, as well as our Thieves Town Small, so nice little find there.
That's nice to see. That means that once we get the Thieves big, we won't have to worry about whether we want to go in there early and look for things and leave the big chest behind or not.
But yeah, Vex skipping it. Yeah, so everybody, just getting everything reset a little bit, trying to get that audio synced back up. I don't know if you can even hear me right now, so. So things are getting reset. Hopefully we'll get everything back soon. It looks like just from this still image, we've got both runners in Village of Outcasts.
Which makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
Now, how excited would you be to go to Pod at this point?
I would hope for a little bit more. That's 3 checks, really. You got Shooter Room, and then you got your Bowlock side.
Yeah, in Keysanity, like if this wasn't Keysanity, we'd be able to actually finish Pod. We don't have the lamp, but in this mode with the keys, we don't have any, so a lot of Pod is locked to us.
Yeah. And generally, that's not a big deal. I mean, how many times, do we really care about the key implications, as we do get that Eastern big key? And yes, the audio is now synced up, it looks like, on Vex's side where we're getting the audio, so.
Thank you. Thank you for all your work, Drosy.
Yep. I'm just doing a little bit of a glance through to see if our runners found anything. I don't see anything on Aaron's own tracker on his channel or on Vex's side that does not match up with what we've seen so far. So I think we're all good on the tracking.
All right, yeah. So if they didn't get anything here, isn't a lot left to check here.
We have a little bit of money. One of the things I'll hope that both of our runners are a little bit more used to is arrow game.
Oh, I really hope they practice that.
You know, we don't talk about it much in open or regular starts, but cross keys and inverted, being able to play arrow game can really be a huge benefit. So Vex recognizing it, Aaron unfortunately heading over to the game and gonna be a little short.
Just 4 rupees, but that old man there with the shovel is going to require all 80. He is not going to give you a discount.
And that's the thing. I did talk a little bit to Aaron before, and you know, he's blaming Vex for joining this race and agreeing to be restreamed. So
that that's sometimes your friends put you in difficult situations here.
Yeah, and this is definitely one of those modes that if you're not as used to some of the little oddities, can really be difficult.
Yeah, Vex wants a lot of money. He's going back in here after playing the arrow game twice. The way that the arrow game that works is that you can just shoot without worrying for the first 2 cycles of this, but then after that the hands start getting out of sync with the targets, and you have to come back in if you want to reset it.
I think you can usually get 3 rounds in.
Can you?
I think you can get a third. The third one's a little harder. Like, it's not as guaranteed as the first couple. Like, the first 2 are pretty easy, and I usually stick to just doing 2. But I believe I've heard that traditionally that third round is still not too bad.
Okay, I only tried the 2, and then I just would leave. You're probably going to find money, like Zora isn't available for possibly quite a while, depending on how long it takes us to get the Light World. We've got pod money.
Yeah, inverted means we're starting in Dark World. Instead of the traditional Link's House Sanctuary starts, we get a Link's House is now in Dark World, and the Sanctuary start is instead the Dark Chapel. The one bad thing about Dark Chapel start is you can't actually heal up at it. Well, you can, but it costs money now. The little NPC within the Dark Chapel will actually take rupees to give you full health to start. So not as great as a Sank start. Also, the Death Mountain start point doesn't start you in Old Man Cave, so you don't get a full health fill there either. There's a lot of little changes to this mode that, you know, we'll try to point out as they come up. But so far, the goal really early is just to get out of Dark World. Dark World's scary.
Yeah, DS. Everything hurts, and you don't have a lot of health.
And there's a big key to Thieves. Oh no.
All right, well, I guess we're gonna have to go back to VOO and back into Thieves Town.
So yeah, that bow that Aaron has was in Skull Woods in the vanilla big key chest of Skull. Vex tried to make an attempt for it, but unfortunately was really having a rough time with those Gibdos and just decided to bail on it for now. Aaron was eventually able to get it. But yeah, this is the worry always of inverted starts. This is what makes this mode difficult. You know, you want to get into Light World, but until you do, this is the difficulty. You're at low health, and you know, Thieves Town and Skull Woods especially can have minimal requirements to actually beat the dungeons. Like in this case, we got hammer, big key, and small key to thieves. That's a full clearable thieves.
Yes. Doing a 5-heart green mail hammer blind is probably not everyone's idea of excitement, but this could be requiring us to do that. Although,
No,
maybe not because Catfish just coughed up the Moon Pearl. So now Aaron with the Moon Pearl is going to have a lot open to him in the Light World.
Yeah, and the hard part about this mode is how do you route Light World? Because it's not just as easy as saying, oh, I can go to, I can start at my house and I can do an uncle route. I can start at Sanctuary and do a Kakariko check. You are committing to one thing, it feels like. Although Aaron might be committing the thieves.
Yeah, which, I mean, it did give us that big key.
I mean, it's a dungeon you can beat and fully in logic. I think I would just wait for a sword. Even, like, this is me saying this as having a year extra on our 2 runners tonight, I'm still like, yeah, I'll wait a little bit. Maybe I can get boots. Maybe I can get a sword.
Yeah, this is an aggressive play. I appreciate that.
Yeah. As a commentator, this is amazing. The runner in me goes, oh my god, no.
I wouldn't do this, but, I'm happy he is. We'll see if Vextiver does that as well. Or if Vextiver gives us a Light World tour. With the, glove and hammer, you can start in CAC, and you can do a loop down to the south. And out and over to all the way down to Ice Rock Cave if you want, or to Eastern. They do have the Eastern Big, although Vex doesn't have the bow.
Yeah, it looks like Vex is going to give us Light World. And that's the thing, like, even just doing these Light World checks, it's, we're getting just so many items.
Yeah, Kakariko doesn't always have quite as many items as it would in a standard or an open because some of the items have already been provided to you through the opening here in the inverted Dark World, but it's still likely to have some things that we're going to need.
And as always, routing through Lost Woods is always kind of weird.
I don't think there's ever really a great time to work this in. I'm fine with doing it now.
Yeah, it's just the fun of, realizing how do I get to the mushroom spot and the thief drop down from the Dark World portal?
This is not a route that you're taking very often outside of this mode.
No. So we did get a small key to Palace of Darkness. And there's our first map. This time 2 Skull Woods, and there's the big key to Desert Palace on Aaron's side out of Blind Cell. Now the interesting thing, of course, about Desert is there's only one way to get into Desert Palace in this mode. We actually are required to find the book if Desert Palace is a crystal, or if anything is in there.
Yeah, suddenly the book becomes a much more important item in this mode than it often can be in your regular old open. So Vextiver is going to work his way through Kakariko here. Aaron is about to go into the blind fight. He's going to have 3 hearts.
I think he already got the pot. So yeah. Oh, he does get the 3rd heart, but yeah.
Okay, not the way I thought, but he did end up with 3 hearts.
Luckily, that blue mail is going to make this a little better, where everything's only doing 1 heart instead of contact damage being 2, but this is still not a... Yeah, this is a hard fight.
Yeah, you really wish you had like a cape or a cane of burner or something. Although you wouldn't be able to do it with the cape, because you need the hammer. And I think he was only one hit away.
Yeah, that was a really, really nice effort. Just unfortunate there. And yeah, no, I agree. Leave, please. We
You
did
gave
get
it a
another
shot.
small key to pod, and then a key to Mire, pod map, and the hook shot.
That'll help us traverse Death Mountain when we get up there. You can technically go up there now, but not in logic without the lamp. But many times we ignore logic when it comes to the lamp. There is a lot more to do. Probably not worth going to the mountain at this point, but it's an option.
Yeah. I think we wait for now. I think you just continue this Kakariko Light World loop. We head south. Question is, will Vex do South Shore or Hyrule Castle, or even the eastern area?
Yeah, you do kind of have to choose once you get to that point, what you want to do, unless you want to um, do a lot of walking to track back.
And there's our desert small. In addition to that desert big we already found. So, we're a fire source and a book from a clearable desert right now. That's not a lot.
No, and it there's a big key that we're going to need the boots for. So I'll have to keep that one in the memory banks.
Now, one of those changes we were talking about, you saw one kind of right there at the library. If you're used to it, you might say, wait a minute, there's a lot less grass around the library. Well, remember, Mirror takes us from Light World to Dark World. So there's actually a backdoor way to get Jeremiah for the Smith turn-in by mirroring there. Here comes another one. Hopefully Vex remembers it. K45, which is normally here in Light World, we lowered the dirt there, so you don't need mirror to get in, because you can't mirror to it.
Yeah, we'll see a few public works projects that were done in Hyrule to lower or raise or build ladders to reach those checks you would normally require the mirror to get to, like Floating Island, Graveyard Ledge, and that Cape 45 there.
Yeah. Lake Hylia Island, Ice Palace has a minor change to it as well. So there's quite a few of these.
Yeah, Ice Palace you can just walk into in the Dark World. There's another one you can walk up to that Bombos tablet. We don't have the book, but if you did, you could go up there and check that without the mirror.
Yeah, technically in Inverted, there's only one check that is truly locked by the Titan's Mitts. So in general, this mode does not require Mitts to complete. That one check, of course, is the King's Tomb. You still need Mitts to get into that area. Or you now need Mitts, I guess is the way to put it.
Yes, because you can no longer mirror into it. Because the mirror will take you from the Light World to the Dark World.
And yeah, as is being discussed in chat, one of the things you can do, of course, is if you can get into desert area, or once you can walk to desert, you can mirror to get to Mire area. So we don't even need a flute really to complete this. Flute doesn't lock anything necessarily.
No, although if you don't have the mirror, then the flute can lead to it in the Mire Shed or Mire itself.
Now, of course, for that mirror, we do have to still activate it in the Light World at the normal location, but instead of using it in Light World, you use it in Dark World.
Yep, and it will take you to the same location in the Dark World that it will. All 8 locations will be the same. They'll just be in the Dark World, and that may or may not be useful.
And yes, Checkerboard Cave was trash tonight.
Vec's gonna have to go back in for this chest after not quite pulling off the hook shot to get it. Only gets arrows.
At least a crystal. We had a 5/6 crystal over at Eastern Palace, which I'm sure Aaron's going to be going for pretty early. But I did miss. I thought we saw something at Hera, and I missed it.
I also did not see it.
Matthew Walker saying it was a regular crystal, so.
You know, Eastern being completable for Aaron, it could be a bit of a big difference, at least early here, because he does have the bow and Vex does not, so Vex cannot go incomplete it. He can go in it, he just won't be able to finish it.
And there's an early flute. But it does look like Vex is at least going to make the way over to Ice Rod Cave. And I think, you know, for Vex, having done all that money grind, like, you know, I got to think we're going to see a fake flipper coming up.
Yeah, I mean, he set himself up for this. He can get that really early Zora check, and by fake flipper, he can get into Waterfall Cave and at least take a look at what's on Zora Ledge. Not sure if he's going to have what he needs to Ancilla there if something's in Zora Ledge to pick it up.
Currently, no. We're not too far off. The Red Rang is actually a really nice piece of the puzzle for doing that. But you're looking for stuff like Samaria, Ice Rod, Red Rang, Bow, Bombs. So right now, he doesn't have all the pieces of that equation.
Yeah, you'd basically just be doing Red Ring and Bombs, and I don't think that's enough.
Yeah, that's not enough to adjust or to cause the Ancilla for the Splash deletion. So we did get that map though of GT out of Ice Rod Cave. Unfortunately, not real important as Vex heads towards the Hobo.
And now all right, so if there was something on Floating Island, you'd have to decide when he wants to get it because it would break the fake flipper and he wouldn't be able to get off of it. But it was nothing necessary, so he doesn't have to worry about it.
And there's the first of our Castle Tower small keys. We didn't get to scout the Lumberjack, so we don't know if that's going to be important, but a little bit of info for sure, or the ability to check a little more. And Aaron was deciding, did he just want to go over to the waterfall, but is going to go check out Hobo.
Yeah, and he'll get that CT small, and but he will not be able to pay Zora, so he will be leaving that one behind.
About to say, are we going to get a full refill on that heart piece? No.
Fortunately.
Yeah, that's a terrible feeling. You're like, no, I did it.
Oh, no, not hearts. Anything but hearts. Alright, so we'll get to see what our friendly scamfish here has today. Ah, the red cane.
That's an amazing find for Vex. The grind really paid off there.
Yeah, that's a required item, almost certainly. I guess we don't know for sure, but this is a very rare seed where it's not required because you need it to beat both Turtle Rock and Misery Mire. And I don't know when Aaron will come back for Zora at this point. He has done catfish and all the other checks in the area, so.
Yeah, I think the one worry for Aaron in that case is, I mean, there's nothing that makes that better. Unfortunately, like, there's just no reason where you're gonna be like, oh yeah, I'm definitely going to Zora, and if flippers are locked by Samaria, it might just further lock him from ever checking it.
Yeah, and it is it's never a good check, but in Inverted, I think it's even worse because just to get to the light world, there's not like a great flute spot to go to. It just requires a long walk.
Now, while we did say that Samaria's nice, the one thing we did just see is Meyer is the green pendant, so
we might not need to finish that. We might not need to finish that.
There's one of our pendant dungeons that requires King to beat, so. So Aaron is going to go full clear Eastern. It looks like Vex is instead going to check out. I'm going to assume this is Hyrule Castle.
Yeah, so Vex is doing his best to avoid a save and quit, having to walk around, get back to the light world. He is just doing as much of this as he can before he has to stop.
Well, I do see, the mention of right side GT big key. One thing to remember is that with this being keys, there's just so many spots for that GT big key. So, might not even matter if it's in GT.
It's, it's more likely that the GT big is not in GT at all.
Yeah.
And that we don't touch the basement.
Well, and that's a nice stun prize we just saw on Vex's side. Red rupees are for stun.
Yeah, considering what we know about Zora, Air should be starting to farm those, although he doesn't know it. Though he just did get the 300 rupee pack out of that chest.
Yeah, so I know a lot of people always say, we love the Ganon's Tower guessing game. Unfortunately, it's very unlikely we're going to deal with that tonight.
No, we would have started at the beginning with guessing 1 out of 216. And we would have quickly lost track.
Yes. If we're lucky, we'll get 7 crystals without having it, and then we can have a guess from 1 to 23.
Yes.
By the way, 216 is not a possible number for the Ganon's Tower big key. To anybody who's putting that in chat.
Yeah, I was tricking you. So I don't think either of them have picked up anything on this divergent path. Aaron is going to be able to finish this dungeon. It is a crystal, right? We know that?
Yes, we know that Eastern is a red crystal.
Okay, yeah. I see the C now. That was...
But there goes the red Igor. Or not the red, the green Igor for Aaron to get that key. Just trying to find his way to the stairs. Does get it. Meanwhile, Vex getting through ball and chain. Gonna take the Death Warp? Yes? No?
He thought about it. Thought about not doing it. But looks like he's going to go ahead. And yeah, gonna make his way to Darkcross. If Darkcross does have the small key, it actually is a little bit convenient. It will give him the opportunity to go all the way through the escape sequence here, where you can get spit out at the Sanctuary, and do that, and the other North Dark World check that's available at Graveyard Ledge, which was left behind so far.
Yeah. And even if he can't, coming along North Light World to hit Graveyard Ledge and then drop into the back of Escape isn't the worst.
No, it's not. It's not that bad.
And there is just our Desert Compass in the Dark Cross.
All right. Well, yeah, not worth it there. But probably not going to skip that because it was not the key or a map.
But we're going to see what Vex and Aaron decide next. I think Aaron wants to activate his flute, but just remembered, yeah, I have to do that in Light World.
At least he remembered right before he got all the way down there.
Yeah.
Vex is not as interested in activating the flute yet. Still got stuff he wants to do.
Yeah, this this looks like a play up to North Light World.
Yeah, this is a nice little convenient spot instead of walking to walking from the chapel to VOO, going to the portal and walking back. Just fake flipper here, get in.
They just haven't found a sword yet. There are swords. They do exist. This is not inverted swordless Keysanity. Inverted keys is mean enough.
The C's just being stingy about it, but they'll be there.
So yeah, Vex is going to give us the back of Escape, and then rather than a save and quit out of here, we're actually probably going to see him walk out up through the top door.
Hey, there's a sword.
There's those sword things.
Yeah, although I think that the Sanctuary is just going to be the key.
Keysanity.
Oh, that's right. Temporarily forgot.
Of course, Aaron forgetting the inverted side of this. You know, this is one of those things that's just really hard to kind of get used to.
Yeah, so he did not do Graveyard Ledge.
Or Sanctuary.
Right.
Doesn't burn him in this case. We got nothing from either of them, but this is one of those things that, you know, you just don't know, and you kind of miss those checks.
Yeah, it doesn't burn him unless he realizes and takes some time to go back and get them. It won't be as bad if he comes back once he's got the boots and mitts and is able to do the bonk rocks and King's 2.
Lumberjack is dead, and there we go. We get the mirror as well as a heart container out of the mire shed. So flute required for mirror.
Yeah, mirror doesn't open a whole lot for us right now. Does give us the Smith chain, as you mentioned earlier. And I guess the first chest in Swamp, although that would be a low priority, I think.
No flippers, so can't get that one yet, though.
Yeah, that's right.
And yes, we do know where that Quake medallion is from Meyer. We did see that on Bumper Ledge earlier. So Death Mountain in Inverted. This is probably the hardest area of the game to kind of wrap your head around and routing it. So some important notes. First of all, you need Hammer to beat Hera. The only way to get into Hera is with a hammer. You can't mirror into it anymore, so you got to go through those pegs. Turtle Rock is not necessarily going to need to be gone in through the front door. The medallion for the front door is kind of not necessary in this mode because we can actually get into all 3 other doors. So, Mimic Cave, the ledges on East Death Mountain are a little different. So we'll see how much Aaron knows about Inverted, because there's a lot.
Yeah, and in fact, I think that based on we have 1 key in Turtle Rock, so with that we could get to a lot of it based with the mirror. But without the cane, Aaron can't get to quite as much.
Meanwhile, Vex, having that sword now, is deciding, you know what, I'm going to go beat Thieves Town. And there's our Ice Rod.
Always nice to know we're not going to be hunting that at the end.
Agreed. We got red mail, some arrows, the big key to Turtle Rock, a heart container, and $20.
Okay, yeah, and if Aaron had that Cane of Samaria, he'd only be the fire rod away from being able to kill Trinex by sneaking in the back way.
Aaron did give some thought to collecting those 50 rupees, decided against it. So yeah, the reason why if you talk to a lot of runners, Death Mountain and Inverted is not a fun place. So everybody thinks about, oh, I've got the drop down for Spiral Cave. Well, you've got a drop down for Spiral Cave. You got a drop down for Mimic Cave. You got a drop down where you can mirror on the Laser Bridge. So each of the 3 drop downs on East Death Mountain has value in this mode, and picking which one you want to do is not easy.
Yeah. And if you do them all, it's gonna take some time.
Yeah.
you can spend a lot of time on Death Mountain and Inverted.
Yep. By the way, we do see on Vex's side, he picked up the map to Thieves Town at one point, and it does know that it is a crystal.
Yeah, so Aaron will have to come back here and do this. Waiting to get a sword to do this is going to work out in Vex's favor.
And there's the fire rod you mentioned. Oh, man.
So, yeah. If Vex comes up here, he doesn't have the Turtle Rock big key. I don't remember what that was.
It was here on the mountain.
Okay. Okay, so then the whole Turtle Rock package is up here.
Or was that in Eastern? I don't remember at this point.
I don't either.
I have a goldfish brain when it comes to items I pick up. I just know what I have.
It's usually not relevant to remember where you got them, just unless you're trying to remember logic. But that you have them is a much more important thing.
We do get the desert map though off of Moldorm.
Yeah,
So,
that is clearable for Aaron now with the fire rod. We don't have the book. We don't have the book.
Yeah. But we can find out if we need that book.
All right, I thought that blind fight would be pretty easy for Vex. He did have a little bit of trouble, but he got through it, and blind is down.
Yeah, so that is Vex's first crystal. Not too bad. Meanwhile, Aaron is going to give us the 2 checks in Agate Tower real quick.
And, while you're here, it's not fun to come back up there. As you said, so you have to walk all the way around to get to this area. I guess not for Agate Tower. You can just go up the Dark World, but he's here. You can do it. It's done.
Yeah, getting back to Agate Tower is not too bad, just because of the fact that you have those stairs from the Death Mountain climb. Now, the one check that Aaron is kind of isolating here is he did not check out the inside of Spectacle Rock.
Yeah, I wonder if he's going to do these drop downs here and come back to that.
Yeah, I'll be very curious to see how he approaches this. This is not an easy area to route, and while he could not get burned on a skip here, I'll be very interested to see what he does or does not find. So Vex working the old man down here. Is he gonna... Okay, so he's remembering. Okay, drop down there. We did see Crystal Pod as well, so we're starting to get a better idea of what dungeons are our pendants. But here we go. What is inside of Spectacle Rock? A small key. And first up, Aaron is going to give us Spiral Cave or not. Maybe Turtle Rock a little bit? Yeah. First up, a little bit of Turtle Rock.
Yeah, you can actually do this with you drop down the Spiral Cave or to Mimic Cave.
There's our Hyrule Castle small cave. As Vex sets up for the bomb jump. Nicely executed there.
Yeah, not most terribly useful small key, especially for Vex, who has completed everything in the castle.
Oh, sorry, I meant Aaron got that.
Oh, Aaron got that. Okay.
Yeah, in TR Big Chest. Oh, hey, there is a book.
There is the book.
So, and the important thing here is for Aaron, all these checks inside of Turtle Rock are actually in logic right now. None of these are actually locked by small keys right now. That big chest, of course, locked by the big key, and then Crystal Roller Room also locked by big key with the current item allotment. And as well as our Chomp Room here. Aaron able to come in through the back, so we don't actually need small keys to check this chest.
No, so is the I'm assuming the lava chest still requires
Yes, lava
some
chest
keys?
is still 4 key
Okay.
locked. Honestly, in terms of Aaron missing checks, the only thing he's really missed, he's not going to miss anything out or in logic, as long as he's still thorough about checking laser bridge. Technically, we can't get into the front of GT logically yet without any medallions, and in terms of keys, we do not have sufficient keys for it, as well as Trinex not being in logic without 4. So all the checks that Aaron is skipping are out of logic currently with his keys, so not a huge deal there. It's just a question of, does he miss something convenient?
Yeah, and so far he's setting up to be very thorough, getting everything done here. Realizing he needs to mirror here to go to the laser bridge.
But does remember at least that this is a set of checks for himself, so not going to miss out on these. Although we are going to have to get some bootless laser skips.
Yeah, not the easiest thing in the world. With red mail, he could take a few hits.
So the one thing we do see, though, is that we got the map to Turtle Rock off a laser bridge, and we find out that Turtle Rock is a crystal. Okay. So Aaron will need to find his way back to Zora.
I really enjoy this frozen head strat that Vex is using on the Pokey.
Yeah, unfortunately, just deciding, doing these checks of TR first before finding that fire rod, so. Oh, nice. So we're gonna probably start finding some TR small keys quickly, given that the lamp is locked by 4 TR smalls.
Yeah. So those will have to be pretty available.
Now, Aaron realizing I want to go clear Desert, having that book and the small and the big key to Desert Palace, but unfortunately forgot, yeah, I got to go through this portal still, because you do need the mitts to access that convenient way into the desert area.
Yeah, there's just all these little things you have to remember when you're playing, and it's not a mode you play that often, so it's easy to forget, especially once you start getting into the race and you start thinking about all the different things you can or can't do, and with the keys and everything, it's easy to lose track of that.
Yeah, the one thing that's really convenient here is Aaron's going to be able to check out Bombo's tablet. Can't get it, but find out what it is. And it's just money.
Yeah, unfortunately, that Ether tablet is kind of up there by itself on the mountain.
Yeah, that's especially isolated now for Aaron. Meanwhile, Vex is going to do Laser Bridge first. Unfortunately, he's going to get that Fire Rod soon, and he might be kicking himself for doing the Laser Bridge check first.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way of knowing beforehand, but it is a little unfortunate.
Yeah, I think the hard part here is like, what I would say is for routing on this, I think you want to hit an extra down. Like, he's dropped again, and he's going to have to now climb again for Hera. So like I would definitely have suggested, you know, hitting that early drop first. Or like hitting the top before doing the drop here.
Yeah, I mean that's fair.
And we did get our Hera Big Key out of Desert Palace, as well as another sword.
Yeah, to remind me, the book was in TR, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Vex is about to get it out of Crystal Roller Room here.
Yeah. So that, you know, you're going to do those mountain checks and get your access to desert, the book, and there's the hierarchy saying, oh, you might have to go back.
Well, and at least that gives you know, some incentive to Aaron to go check Ether Tablet eventually, as we get another pod small key.
Yeah, we're starting to get enough pod small keys where going in there even without the big key makes a little bit more sense because we'll be able to open so much of it. So we just need to know. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say we only need to know one more crystal.
Yeah, we know 6 of our crystals. Eastern Desert Hera for Light World, and then Pod Thieves and TR for Dark World. So yeah, we're just down to 1 between Swamp, Ice, and Skull. And honestly, in Aaron's position, I think you almost go kill Moth as soon as possible. You know,
Yeah.
find out.
Yeah, I mean, there's an item. There's a couple items there, and yeah, you find out like, do I know everything that I need to clear?
Yeah, I mean, if I can avoid having to go into, you know, finding flippers, like that could be really powerful in this seed. But nice 1 cycle kill for Aaron there on Landmolus, and a small key to Turtle Rock.
Yeah, and also if we know if Swamp is a pendant, we know we don't want to find the Swamp Small. We don't want to have to go in there.